Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order, start recording, and then go ahead and look at last month's minutes. Does anybody want to approve the minutes? Do a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
All right.
All right, excellent. No visitor comments. But we have a lot of business to talk about, so everybody has an agenda. I would say it's a busy meeting, so. Eric, do you want to dive into the business survey results?
Certainly can. So I'll start working backwards. The business survey results we've sent out. We I got a note from Fran that one of the members found that their results weren't on there. I don't know why that is. So I sent the link back to Fran. So if your results aren't on the list, you can't see it, feel free to do the survey. Same survey, it'll just go right into the results and we'll give you a final draft. So I don't know why they're not there. We had we had to switch one question because it wasn't recording the answers right. So I don't know in doing so if it changed something, but we do have results from prior to that change. So I don't know what happened. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. We have posted the public version. I'm going to go to our page here. We have 2 dashboard links and then also the PDF, which you saw attached to your actual items. This is the dashboard. It's right from SurveyMonkey. So it'll give people the images. So they only allow a certain number of questions on each of the dashboards. So there's 2 dashboards. So dashboard 1 and dashboard 2. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling quick. And some of the questions are written in such a way that they don't give a visualization model. So there's, the point being is folks should look at the PDF if they want all the questions. This is meant to just be a visual.
16 people answered and it's all one radio station.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, so exactly. So ultimately, there were 65 total submissions, 58 named businesses that I think we saw in that. You have all received, except for anyone who wants to add in this document, which is the business survey with these business names, a low response rate. Not unsurprising to us at the city, right? Most folks, unless they have a major complaint, don't look to us to, be a solution solver for them or a provider. Problem solver and solution provider. That's what I was looking for on some things. But at the same point, it was still low. But I was happy to see some names that aren't our normal involved business district or BDC type of businesses, right? I mean, there were some names that I didn't even know, were in business. So that is good. And there's a lot of data. I have not peeled through any of it to give you any sense of things. I don't think we'd be in the spot to really dive in right today unless you want to. So I'll stop talking about
No.
What's the percentage of home business versus all?
That's what I did.
Okay, Fran looked through it. Fran's 16% home business, 49% was commercial, 35% contractors. So, okay.
If when you start going through the data, I'm not sure exactly what all the information is that you need, but if you find that there's underrepresented types of things, and it's might be easier to approach them personally with a written one, I'm happy to help.
Okay.
With that kind of just so that we can get the data and get people feeling involved. Because there's some big decisions coming up, it seems.
Indeed.
Do you think we'd be able to dive a little deeper on data at the next meeting?
I think so, and it's really a question, do you want me to do the data dive and present? Do you want the group to pull this apart and parse it, and as members, I'm happy to do it, but I also want it's your.
I think it's a good exercise to do as a group.
And
in our next meeting.
I think perspective is going to be helpful. You know what I mean? We don't always know, the lens that you guys have to look at through things, and yet our perspective may be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I say we do that. Let's go ahead and put it on the next meeting agenda as far as digging through it.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. The Explore Webster Grows website revamp update. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So it's a minor, we don't really have much of an update. The Explore Webster page is up. What I wanted, and Jenny Starkey is in another meeting this morning.
Yeah.
But as you notice, we have, some of our highlights of things coming up here on the page, things we know about, but there's other things that are going to be coming up, such as the All-American 5K, that big run that starts in Kirkwood with 1,500 people and ends on the parking ramp by Layla and Dee Dee Mao. Is coming back in June. So, I mean, some of those events, we'll add them in as we have permits and such. that come in and we know about, but we're working on essentially a form model. So if you all have something going on in your business, I'll use like James Carlton's street dance when he had his 20th or 10th, whatever anniversary he had, right? Like letting that go in so that can populate the calendar. As you look at community events, we obviously have more than this coming. These are just the basics that we have permits in for. Like the Lions Club 4th is now being finalized. They're ready to start advertising, so that will be going up on the community events and such. So if there are other events, you know, even from a business, you know, a great, you know, plant sale, I'm just looking at May Pop, you know, whatever it may be, we'll be happy to put those up and on the calendar.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good.
Hey Eric, who do they contact? Is there like an easy
It'll be Jenny Starkey. We're looking at creating essentially an online form with her
Okay.
email, but that people can just dump it right in a form. They don't
Okay.
have to generate it.
Yeah.
They're emailed in, so. And that will make it easy for us to pull from a form right into the
Right.
calendar, so.
Okay. Good deal. The business liaison proposal update, I know I wasn't there and it doesn't look like Bob is on the meeting.
Well, I was there.
You were there.
Bud
I
was
saying
there.
you and Bud were there. I know that. That's kind of what I was gonna look at. Bud, do you mind kind of summing up how it went?
The presentation was good.
Yeah.
Questions were few from the council. That I have a sense that they like this, they want it. So it's all a matter of money now.
Yeah.
To get going. I don't know where they stand with that as far as budget. And that's, are they considering that now in the new budget?
Yeah, so we talked, the presentation went well, I'll supplement everything Bud said there. At the end of the night, they did talk about, and the mayor brought this up, and obviously Laura's been a part of, you know, this conversation, but they asked before they make any decisions to have staff mapping of what the current staff roles are in relation to the bullets, you know, in your proposal and such, who's doing them, where there are deficiencies and such, to really see what, you know, sort of model out the right kind of position. And we would want to do that anyways in creating the requisition for the job and such. So you know, we plan to do that and have it back both to you all to look at and to the council in June. So I would expect, you know, I think the council's very eager to look into doing this role and really get it right and figure out the funding for it. So.
Good. All right, good deal. So that's something we'll probably follow up on before our next meeting, just follow up over email with.
Yeah, so we'll get the staff mapping done from city management side for you all to look at. You can look at it, you know, we can dicker if we disagree on things and all that fun stuff.
Sure.
So, not that we will, I'm just, you know, I'm
Yeah.
saying it's okay for you all to disagree. If you're like, no, you don't do that.
Yeah.
We need to know that we don't do that if you think we're not doing it. So, that's the council was the direction they gave us as staff, was to really draw that out, lay out how a new position would fit within what's currently here in the existing structure.
Okay. All right, great. Cece, you want to go through the business bingo?
Sure, you
update?
guys should have gotten that. Pam and I met, I felt that it was important to figure out what the mechanics would be of doing this kind of thing. Here's an example, there's tons of bingo cards online, but this is just an example because these have little clues. This one does, and this shows you there's 5 by 5, which makes for 25. We probably won't have a free space, but the idea would be to have a little clue that takes you to the business, and that these would all be numbered. So we could also rearrange the numbers so everybody's not walking around in the same order, doing the same thing and kind of spoiling the fun. So the concept is you go to ideally Llewellyn's, you get one of these cards, they would write down what time you left. You'd go off on your map going 1 to 25. You walk in a business, they would take a stamp. We'd have to buy stamps or stickers, I guess. And, you know, they would fill in the card. So when you're done with the card, you go back to Llewellyn's. The first one back basically is the winner. I think the Business Development Commission should supply a table of snacks, appetizers, whatever, beers you have to buy, self-purchase. I think that their Webster bucks would be the best idea for prizes. And then we thought about having a silent auction that runs the whole time, because some people may just want to hang out. keep them there, or the early birds still keep them there. And that the businesses that want to put something in the auction can, and that's how we raise money. So we have a self-sustaining opportunity here as well. So that's the gist of it. If anybody's got any ideas or questions.
Have you thought about maybe making, instead of it being like a one person wins kind of thing, stretching it out over a week? So that people could just have fun visiting the different businesses and like maybe as part of it, and then they turn it in and you know, like maybe they get a chance for the basket or something, you know, or something like whatever.
It's a good idea, what you're saying, and I did run across an example of that in Michigan. I'm not sure.
Cause like with this, it's like speed, you know, you run into my pot, stamp me, I'm going. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And then they're also taking up a parking space and like trying
Only
to
for a
stand in
second.
line while we're like checking people out and things like that. Whereas if it's like during the week, they could come in and have a coffee. Oh yeah, can you stamp my thing? Cool, let's go over and like check out Civil Alchemy and see if they have any fresh flowers, you know?
Now, the example that I saw that went on for maybe a month was that people that bought things got stamped. Which is also a good idea.
No, that is way smarter. That's like very, now that I would support. No, I mean, this is
speedily
the
check them out.
commission, not the charity commission.
I get it, yeah, I mean,
I get it.
it helps the business.
My goal originally, and let's talk about this, was to get people to understand the lay of the land, to try to get people in, get people, you know, having fun. And I think if it's prolonged, it's not necessarily going to be remembered that they show up on the day to, you know, have a little party about it. So what I was just hoping to get was people to really understand, oh, this is over here. Oh, your business is over there. Oh, this is over here. And there's this business district by Schnucks, you know, like just to get people running around so they're feeling comfortable about where things are. So even though I love what you just said, I'm thinking it wouldn't create the energy that I was thinking was a good idea. Does anybody else want to comment on that?
I also have concern with the first person back, making it a thing where people are driving fast and that doesn't seem like a good thing to me, that they're just running in my store, stamp me out of there. So they're not looking, I can't tell them about my store because they just want to move on to the next place. And it also creates a sense of urgency for them to be moving fast and not taking proper safety precautions. I mean, I think if we do it as a time thing, I think then everybody that completes their task, we need to pull a card for when they're not the first person back.
Well, that's fine. We could do that. We could just have everybody leave. And then when they have completed cards, they write their name on it and it goes in a basket or something. We pull out prizes from it.
I think at minimum we do that, but I also am concerned that this isn't going to really show in 2 hours that they're going to see my store as well too. So I mean, it's two different things there.
I've got an idea as far as like kind of a hybrid between both, because I think, Cece, what you like, that what would be lost with what Tammy and Tim are saying is you lose the camaraderie of bringing everyone together. What if they picked the card up like the week before, and then the turn-in time was like a 2 to 4 on that Saturday, same at Llewellyn's, get people together, give them snacks, give them drinks, draw for it at that point in time, and then you can still have a silent auction. So you still get the one-time event, but then it's not the, you know, hustle and bustle speed of getting in and out in 2 hours. People can enjoy your store if they haven't been there. Then when they come in for a stamp, spend time there, and then, you know, people have time to fill it out. That way, if they're not able to do something just in a 2 hour time frame, they've already picked up the card. They could have all week to spend on it.
Well, and you could even do like the silent auction and stuff at like a kickoff event and have that be like more of the gathering. I love the idea of making
So-
people buy something.
Sure.
Like, what if it was like, just here are, the brick and mortar businesses, who buys from the most separate businesses? I mean, like, this is like a stupid analogy, but like, I have a Gap card, it's like Gap, Old Navy, Athleta, Banana Republic, and you get like a more discount if you buy from all of the brands. So like, if we're encouraging people to buy from more Webster businesses, I think then they could get home and they have a product and they feel like more connected to the business and would probably be more likely to go back than if they just popped in for a stamp.
The other thing I think is interesting, so with this like business survey, we have a graphic of what months are the lower months for all of the people that responded. So we could target the collecting of the stamps during the time when people have less, like a kickoff could even be at like the art fair or the jazz festival or something like that, where we already have a bunch of people.
I like that.
And then they could do all this. Would it be okay for them to just be, if the activity was more like around that, like the energy, could they turn in their bingo cards to the city? Like just drop them off at City Hall or something.
Well, this is an October 1st event. It's a Saturday. It's already in for that. You could have people come pick up a card at City Hall a week ahead and do that, or pick it up the day of the event. The silent auction idea was just a way to try to keep people from leaving. It's like, let's mill around and have a beer. Yeah.
Although
So,
that's a pretty.
It's
major
overdone. I gotta
undertaking.
tell you, as
Yeah.
a small business, like
Every school. does
every
it.
single, no, not just that. Everything in St. Louis, we get asked every day, no joke, for donations to people's silent auctions. And so that's gonna be, it's a thing. There, because it's for everything.
hey, but we're doing 25 businesses, maybe those are the businesses that are expected to donate. Maybe there's other people that didn't get chosen that just want to have a chance. I understand. I used to have a business that we got letters almost every day for somebody. But this is supposed to be simple, easy, and fun. I don't want to be involved in an overcomplicated thing. Let's put it that way. If one of you guys has a bigger vision and you want to invest the time in it, go for it. But this is just meant to be, let's give everybody a chance to come into Webster, feel good about Webster, leave Webster. And it's like window shopping, you go in and out of people's businesses. You don't necessarily talk to shop owners. You don't necessarily ask them questions, and I go walking around in even Tim's business. I just pop in and pop out. I'm not investigating it a whole lot. So I just don't want to make this more than. I think the idea of picking up a card ahead of time is fine. We can do that at City Hall. We can't do that on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, so we have to end up at a venue. I was more or less hoping I could find someone today that had a contact at Llewellyn's. That's what I thought it was coming for.
Could I just add in, if you want to do the week longer, is there any reason that the 25 businesses that are participating don't have cards, like start at any one of them? Pick a.
What?
So you have 25 businesses on your
Yeah.
card, right?
Uh-huh.
So why have people come to City Hall just to get a card? Why not have the cards at the 25 businesses
Oh,
participating?
that's fine.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? So
fine.
you go to Maypop, you grab the
Sure.
card and then you start.
Yeah,
your
if
journey.
you're already in that shop.
Right,
yeah.
yeah. You
That's
started.
fine.
They have periodically,
Say that again?
the girls' night out events.
Yeah.
They just had one in May.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for a while.
Oh, okay.
You pick up everything at any of the businesses that are participating. They produce a map. They used to have a passport and you would go around and you would get this stamped on the passport. They did not like the run in, run out. It caused problems,
The business.
the businesses, and it didn't get them anything. They've built up where people are now looking for it because they have a quarterly. So some of the things you're talking about, some of the businesses are used to it and can
And some
tell
of
you what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
But picking it up at the business brings them into the business again. As opposed to not make City Hall the hub kind of thing.
Yeah, it would behoove everybody for more people to have cards too, and make it as easy as possible to get cards.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's not the best idea to make City Hall pick up, because so rarely do people come in and out of City Hall anyway.
It's usually not that
It's not
experience.
a.
Like going to the court. Yeah, going to the court.
When they complete their passports, do they just do that at like?
They
any
turned
of
it in
them
at the last one that they were at.
Oh, that makes sense.
And
then
then
everybody,
and then-
The last one they were at, so they were at Maypop and they turned it in there.
Right.
Is that the idea?
And every place that you go is another stamp. So the more places you go, it's like a raffle ticket.
Mhm.
And then they pull a winner every time from that. So if I went to 2, I've got 2 chances to win. But if I went to all of them, I've got a dozen chances to win. And that's how they pick their winner after the fact.
do they get stamped only if they buy something?
No,
Is that just,
Old Webster's. It's
Webster.
put on by the Old Webster Trade Association. And they've gone to, they started out where they did raffle baskets where all the participating businesses contributed something.
Mhm.
And they streamlined this year where each of the participating businesses donates a gift card. So every time it's $100 worth of gift cards from the businesses that participate. So similar with the Webster bucks for the gift, as it makes it easy. They've been doing it for about 5 years now.
I know I've seen
Yeah,
their
they've been doing
advertising
it.
placement.
Yeah.
And they bring in people, they've got, some of them have people that look for it now. So they're bringing in people from outside of Webster, but there are people come in from Chesterfield and Wildwood. Just
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Who's in charge of that?
the Old Webster Trade Association.
You don't have a contact name.
That's me.
Oh, you?
It's like-
Well, hey, your funds of all knowledge is right here.
Yes, that's why I'm intimately aware of what I'm.
Yeah, all the process.
But yeah, I think that would be good. I mean, do you think that makes sense to do it a week long like that? And-
Yeah, I don't see any
Okay,
problem
But I
with
still,
that, but I
I still
wanna
like the end of.
somehow a hurrah, like,
I like the idea of that. Yeah,
um,
I think that could be part of it where there's a,
You need a week to do that. 25 businesses.
yeah,
We're talking about doing it like in a matter of hours. That's a lot.
well, you're not milling around, Tammy's concern.
Yeah.
But
September.
you are coming to understand that there's a business there you never heard of before. And that was all I was after, is a little awareness for everybody.
May I suggest if you.
Yeah.
An option, I'm going to, Tim, I'm toeing into your world, so yell at me if this is really a bad idea, but. October 1, 2 weeks ahead of that is Jazz Fest, and I'm not saying. Program in Jazz Fest, but use that as a kickoff, right? If everything's in stores, you've got 2 weeks ahead of, a major group.
Then we're pulling from people outside of Webster, and that's
That's
where
a
you're
good
gonna
idea,
get some
yeah.
traction.
So what do you, how,
So-
we don't. I
So
need
Jazz
your-
Fest is the big,
Yeah, I
the big,
get- I
you know,
that.
Jazz Fest. So, but I'm saying that's 2 weeks. If you started that day, if all the passports, the bingo cards, whatever they are in stores, if that's what you're looking at, you could run a 2 week type of, run around, go see the businesses, go do some shopping, as we head into the fall season and all that fun stuff. And
So
and then-
you would
and then
be
have it
like
October.
you're experiencing Jazz Fest and they're in a store.
They're in
you
Tim's store,
see
they
the
can-
card.
they can see the card picking up.
Okay.
So
That's fine.
now that obviously uses Old Webster as a big kickoff point, right? But the point being still of the whole thing is to get people out into all the parts of Webster Groves throughout the way. So.
Did you put it at like the beer stands and stuff?
that's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah,
So I am happy to
Yeah.
talk to anyone on the Jazz Fest. I can't commit it's not a city event, but yes, so. And
No,
Tim,
I-
didn't mean
I-
to make you, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that would be fine. I mean, if we really want to do it, if CC wanted to man a booth there, she could have a little tent, out there on one of the main streets as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can talk about that. There, and it doesn't have to be just CC. I mean, anyone from the
Sure.
BBC.
Yeah,
we can all be there.
Yeah.
At this point,
Ambassador.
it's just been Pam and me, and
Right.
we could use some help.
Well, I'll be around that day. So if that is
Yeah,
happening, I
well,
can be there to do that.
I mean, in general.
Yeah.
If anyone's done like the Central West Side window walk during Christmas time,
Yeah.
they've got like someone from their business organization in like a primary
Yeah.
spot that just gives out maps and stuff, so.
Right, that's a good idea.
That gives us some time, then you can plot a map and we could have the whole, you know, a character map or a real map, whatever we
Sure.
want to do to, you know, allow people to drive that way. And it, I mean, we'll obviously circle with Jazz Fest, but it just lines up with your October 1 date, right? It's a,
Yeah. I
it's a
think
good
that's a
kickoff,
good-
and if you're
yeah,
gonna do a,
Definitely.
Well, then it could be, you know, it could be an event on Explore Webster page, and after
Absolutely.
the kickoff,
Yep.
cards could be left behind to participating businesses so that,
Yep.
you know, people find out about it or
Right.
word spreads, then they can get involved with it too.
and I don't know if Old Webster does it for the night, but being that we're outside of Old Webster, or any of the business districts, we may want to look at a small window cling or something to go inside a door of a store, you know, that, you know.
So why would it have to be only 25? You know
Well,
what I mean,
only
like on
because-
a thing, it doesn't, you know what I mean, does it matter? No, we're just trying to get them to go all over Webster, so like Green Goose could be on it and. You know, flying.
Well, if you have a card, it just happens, the cards, the bingo cards are 25 squares.
But not every number that's a number is on every bingo card. When you play bingo,
Well, this one has no numbers. This one just has
that's what I mean, it
clues.
doesn't have to have like just 25. It doesn't have the names of the businesses?
Well, I was envisioning the clues, like played soccer, basketball in high school. This one is for someone who you're trying to get to know people in a room, find somebody who drives a red vehicle. So I thought the clue part of it was kind of interesting.
Mhm. But if
And
you're gonna
that's
have,
why
a-
there's
if you're gonna have a
25.
map and send people around, they're gonna know who they're going to, right?
Well, I wasn't gonna have a map. I was gonna
Okay.
have,
You're making
they were
figure
gonna
it out.
have to figure some stuff out, you know, and that was part of the fun.
Yeah. I don't know if more than 25 is, I mean, I agree that
25
you don't
is
want to
kind of
cap
a
it, but
lot,
I
actually.
mean, when we look at what we've gotten from business survey results and stuff like that, I think that's probably, I don't think we'll have a ton more than a rest. I could be wrong.
How many
Yeah.
years
Maybe
have
we
you-
are, and then we
Oh,
can.
and it does-
more different people.
Dustin and all that.
Pastime. In the past,
I
I've had
think 25 is a lot. Really, I mean, you'll have maybe one or
It's gonna
two at
take
crossroads. maybe
contacting the businesses and talking to. them.
Yeah, not everybody's gonna want it, or some people, you know, I don't know, 25 just seems like a lot to me.
Hey, Cece.
And that's what a bingo card looks like.
I think Pam wants.
Then what do you have there?
Pam's in. Hi, Pam.
Hi, am I on? I've been on longer than my face has been up, except I'm sorry I went through a little rabbit hole. And I was in the section where you listen to the meeting, but you can't participate. Anyway, why don't Cece and I and maybe one other person get together and just kind of go through a lot of these notes and opinions and come back to you with a revised idea?
Yeah, I think Fran needs to be picked a little bit more for information here. Pam, what do you think of that?
I think that's a good idea, and then maybe bring it back next month as far as looking at the kickoff
Yeah.
date, a little bit finer details,
Sure.
but I think this is a good start, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in particular, a lot of good ideas from around the table, but I'm not sure whether to participate, you have to buy something at 25 different places. I'm not sure about that. As Cece said earlier, we were really just talking about increasing awareness of everything that's available in Webster. I really like the connection with the JS Festival. I mean, there's a couple of things that I think we can really develop and go forward with.
yeah. And the buying thing is good, but some businesses have expensive products and some businesses have inexpensive products, so.
Right.
And I mean, for what it's worth, I participated in this kind of a contest at the art museum, and the prize was a trip to Paris. And I got the second to the most memberships. And I lost by one because somebody realized the value of that prize and bought a membership for somebody. And I'm playing by the rules. So I'm thinking the same thing, you know, like if there's $100 prize, somebody's gonna try to do that to somebody, you know, so. I just think it's about awareness, even though I value what everybody's saying.
So
Are we saying that we have to do one line or we have to do all 25 businesses?
that you do 25 businesses, that keeps it going longer.
Cover all.
There isn't really a literal bingo, numerical, there isn't really a way of playing bingo. There's just a way of finding squares with clues.
Yeah, I mean, 25 seems like a lot of places you'd need to go for this.
Well, there's 4 business districts. including Tammany's.
You just mean as a participant, Tim, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that might turn some people off if we're doing clues and you've got to do clues for 25 different places.
Well, the shops in Old Webster are very close to each other. The shops in Old Orchard are very close to each other. So
But if we're trying to get people to branch out, don't we want them to go to Yorkshire? Don't we want them to go to these like other places?
I don't know. Yorkshire's always been sort of off the grid. I don't know what to say about it.
I mean, green gooses are really cool. That's like got like they're getting a big following and they've got, like cool stuff in the city and there's some really neat things. And that's kind of the point, isn't it? That like you didn't even know, but yet this super cool like business owner is doing some neat stuff.
Right. Right.
I don't know about y'all, but I've always wanted to go to Big Lots and see what they got. So-
well, let's, yeah,
If you want to do a comeback next month, I think that's fine. If you'd like, just to keep expediting, because obviously it'll take some lead time to get everything together. I can chat with the Jazz Fest organizers to make sure they're okay if we
do
use
that.
that. So,
Yeah.
If
so
you
just to
just
help. Yeah,
maybe let me or
Yep.
Fran know. 'cause I'll be
Absolutely.
talking to Fran.
absolutely. That's
so
good.
good ideas.
Billable hours.
Let's keep it on the old business for next month, come together with, a little bit more development on it. So, so new business, House Bill 1662.
All right, so I'm not going to summarize this whole entire bill for you. Yeah, provided a bill. And when you read the original title of the bill, you think this is really great because it's a bill about getting rid of restrictive covenants, which is absolutely a good idea, at least from the city's perspective. And the city hasn't taken a position on this. I wanted to bring this to your attention because it does affect the business community in a way that could be very good for the business community, also could be very bad for the city. So I'm going to flip over to the summary, and essentially zoning regulations on the basis of home-based work are going to be preempted by the state now. So that means that Webster Grove zoning issue regarding a home-based office, parking restrictions, things like that are going to change for home-based businesses. And then also it essentially prohibits a licensure of a home-based business. So if you have a home-based business, you do not need a business license to operate in. Again, that could be very good for home-based businesses. There's a number of them that have licenses from us. It also means you that are brick and mortar businesses are paying business license and home-based businesses are not. So I really wanted to bring this up because it's a bill we are looking at. The governor hasn't signed this yet. I do expect him to sign it, so it'll change how we interact with a good swath of the business community in the city. So I encourage you to look it over. I will let you know when the council is going to take it up to review and have a conversation, because it cuts not just in my world in dealing with business licensure and how we help business, but also with zoning issues and all the things that go along with that. Your accessory dwelling units, or that could become essentially accessory commercial units, right? Now, if you are an accountant and want to work out of your garage now made into an office, that can happen in the residential districts without, without major work with major needs of change from the city. So it changes the regulatory nature that we have here in Webster.
Has this essentially already passed though, except for governor?
It's all passed, just waiting to go. And I fully expect him to sign it.
Sure.
So this is what they call the truly agreed to. I mean, this is the version that was presented to the governor. So he can say yes or no to it. We fully expect him to sign it. I have no indication he's not going to. There are certainly more cities that have more home-based businesses than we do, but there's a good chunk of our business license funds that come out of home-based businesses.
Okay, so, but it says that like appointments within like home or accessory structures. So, with your example of, being a CPA or something or whatever in your unit, that you would not be able to have your clients meet you there. And then like parking might come into an issue in the residential areas.
Right, so what this is saying here is there are some municipalities that have said you can't have a home-based business in certain residential neighborhoods or that operate at certain hours. it takes away all the city's ability to make those rules. So the state has now said home-based businesses essentially, in terms of zoning and the regulation by the city, cannot be regulated except for certain public health types of concerns. So,
How much revenue is Webster looking to lose?
yeah, I mean, I would guess out of about 1,600 business licenses, probably 600 or so.
Can you send that to us, Eric?
You-
can send us that?
You sure? Yeah, I'll send you the bills. So, so again, there are, from some points of view, this is a great bill for business, right? And we have been talking about how do we incentivize home-based business and accessory commercial uses in a greater way. COVID is changing how we're going to work. Commercial real estate's in a different world now. But also it does cut the other side for both the city and also then, how do we provide a more level playing field for a brick and mortar business that is, operating out of a commercial zone versus those that are in the residential unit.
Do you see this as a concern for our business liaison proposal? Because we were using the supplemental income from the business licenses and we're gonna lose 600 licenses.
If the city were to go that route, yes, I mean, it certainly would change that mechanism. I mean, I don't see it as a concern for the business districts because they mostly are all residential. There's very few home-based businesses within a district. But in terms of the city's general fund, both a way as a funding and then also as it would be a reduction of revenue to the city's general fund.
Does it come at a good time?
No, it's
No.
not ideal.
So clarification.
Yeah.
When I read through that, and I'm not looking at it from a business perspective,
Sure.
I'm looking at it from a residential
Yes.
perspective. Suddenly I've got somebody that lives next door to me now that you can't control.
Right.
When they operate, how much is in my residential, what my neighbors are doing now that might not be positive.
Sure.
Am I reading that right?
That's right. So,
All right.
we are technically against tattoo parlor. Well, I'll use this way. At one time liquor sales were prohibited, right? If you could, and liquor laws are a bad example because there's other laws, but if that didn't exist, you theoretically could sell booze from your garage, right? That's a hyperbole example, but it makes the point, right? That, now you can increase traffic, those kinds of concerns, which has been our general issue with home-based business, right? We don't have nice wide streets, ample parking in a lot of places, not that we need wide roads, as we call them, and want to encourage speed, but how do we help folks? We have trouble parking in the commercial districts, much less, through and out the residential.
Yeah, I think maybe a better example is contractors who basically operate off their phones, but might have 3 trucks.
Sure.
I mean, why would they need a commercial business
Right.
space?
Well, and in a lot of ways, they can do that. You can park the vehicle as long as you've got space and such like that, but it's, I'm just trying to think through businesses. I mean, we have a lot of home-based food businesses, actually. Some of which I don't even know if they're actually licensed to be a food business, but they do exist, right? And so, all those concerns, as a resident outside of the business, yes, the city is going to be neutered, is a good term, in terms of
Yeah.
being able to impact.
Well, and
That's
that's
what it sounds
assuming
like.
that people understand it properly.
Right.
Because then you're also gonna have this whole gray area of where it's like, I thought that meant this.
Right.
and,
Yep.
Right.
Oh, that's
So
true.
is
I-
there any sort of coalition of municipalities
Yes.
that have discussed that or figure out?
So I mean, the municipal leagues, both the St. Louis Area Municipal League and the statewide municipal league have both been up in arms about this. This is while we've had a great legislative session in terms of not bad things happening to us in a lot of ways, this is the one that managed to
The one that
pass.
got us.
And so this, they are certainly asking for a veto. I'll be honest with the current structure in Jefferson City, it's rural cities that, have the pull. It's not us in the St. Louis region. As you get closer, farther West County, they have more pull with the political structure. But it's going to be, I don't think the governor is going to overcome that. And part of it is COVID, right? We all started flowing back to home. And in general, people are saying it's working. Right? I mean, as the nature of work changes, as we're going to a home-based scenario. So I think there are things that are working, but it's also how do you accommodate for those cases that don't, right? And, because the state's not going to come back and take care of ABC, whatever, on Gore when it's blocking up traffic because people are trying to get in.
Yeah.
So.
So not really anything we can do here. It's all-
It's a really- yes.
Yeah.
So but the point being is at some point, the staff, assuming the governor will sign this, the staff have started to look at it. We're going to confab with sort of a layout of where we're at, what this changes, right? And likely do a presentation to the city council to talk about the nature of this change, all the impacts for it, from zoning and planning and all those things. And we'll make sure you're invited because it is a change to the business climate and the nature here in Webster Groves.
So will there be some education put out so
Mhm.
that, to like the public, so that people that are doing will understand the rules
Exactly,
more
yes.
clearly?
It'll make, I hate to sound this way, but it's going to make processing business licenses a lot easier. So, you know, small goods out of really bad things sometimes, but at least from a city perspective. So.
Okay, well, yeah, keep us in the loop on it.
Okay.
As you guys decipher it. So, so the business development fund,
Yes.
it's
so
exciting.
It is exciting.
Let me talk about this one first. And then,
Yeah.
Yeah. So on top of your liaison proposal, as I mentioned, you all, the ARP funding exists. The city council has in the budget, which needs final adoption in June, but it is there and I do not expect any changes. In this memo I sent out, you'll notice item number 1, related to your commission is $100,000 in the business development fund. This money would need to be fully expended by the end of 2026 calendar year. I caveat this all with, I've coupled it with your commission because it fits in the purpose. The council can at any time decide what they want to do with that money, okay? But the council has said, you know, with business survey and with your work as a commission, with business districts and talking to the business community, come up with a plan. You know, what do you think, how we should be investing these funds? Is it micro grants? Is it related to COVID? Is it more about the inflation pressures and supply chain issues we're seeing now, right? I mean, you know, how do we invest and what is the right way to invest in the business community? And that doesn't necessarily have to be just things for business. Is it parking? Is that really an issue, right? How do we take that up? I was surprised out of our survey, you know, that on-demand micro transit popped up as high as it did in that which I'm personally, I very much support, but it's, you know, that was really shocked that came as high as it did in that survey result. But I'm not saying you have to spend that. My point is we have to make some plans. So I think if I saw the agenda right, we put it together as potentially of a subcommittee or such to start talking about that and what is the right way to spend it. Not spend it, but to plan for it and take that plan to council on how $100,000 could go to help the business community.
So is that anything that we would like, because we had that, what was the roundtable session? Is that anything where like we would say, now that we've got this budgeted amount for this kind of thing, do we go back to that group and say anything? Or do we feel like you got the full feedback from them back when we did it?
I thought the roundtable was successful, but at the same time, I think we got the feedback from the people that were interested in it, that were in the room. So I think we can take what we got from there, use it as a guide, and then make a proposal from that. I think that's fair. I mean, I think we asked for input, but I don't think we need more heads put together to.
Input is always welcome. I wonder if it isn't best if we make a plan and then have people react to the plan. And you know what I'm saying? And rather than just say, okay, now we've got the money, here's what we heard, what do you think we should do with it? Again, sort of in that way, is to really make a plan and then bring that, if we want to hold another roundtable, that's great, right? We come back with a roundtable on, here's where we're looking. One of the things that, you know, has been talked about, like we heard from the nonprofits about a nonprofit type of grant program. It was in that initial ARP balancing act we did. You know, the Masons are very, very much interested. They are asking, they want a nonprofit grant for capital needs they have. Other nonprofits may want that. That's not anywhere in the ARP plan. Doesn't mean the city's not going to do it. It's just something the council hasn't yet identified. So I mean, there are some of those other options that may bubble up if we go back and say, people are like, I really wanted this type of thing in the plan.
Yeah. Well, it is really a pretty small bucket. 100,000 doesn't go very
It's not
far.
a spend.
It's not that much.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's about 1.6 million left. So I mean, if there's a continuing, you know, from the world of the business community that 100,000 is great, here's where we put it, and here's where we put the next 100,000 too. You know, I mean, you can do that, right? I mean, that is the fundamental core of this commission's role, is to provide recommendations on what the city can do for the business community.
What's the time frame on spending that other 1.9 million or allocating?
All of it's allocated by the end of 24, expensed out by the end of 26.
Okay.
Calendar year.
Okay.
And understanding too, this is one time.
Right.
Yeah, it's one-time use,
Yeah.
so we can't do something that
Right.
is continuing.
So
to
it's
spend.
really
Yeah.
neat if we can put it towards things that are gonna have a lasting effect or
Absolutely.
like some sort of.
Yep.
Mhm.
We don't have to report the return on that, do you? Like,
To the feds, you mean?
yeah, I mean,
No.
it's just
no.
like, this is
So
what we did. and that's-
we are lucky in that regard. So big cities have to do that. They have to, like, it's a whole sub-grant recipient federal reporting. The small cities got lucky and they just said, anything under 10 million that you get is just considered replacement revenue. So now we get to spend it like it's our cash and we just tell them, we put it all towards replacement revenue.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, what do you guys think? Should we do a subcommittee for it or should we?
Yeah.
I mean, I think either that or keep, or make it as an agenda item and,
Yeah. 'cause our
Brainstorm it with
subcommittees are
everybody.
about this size.
yeah. I don't know very
Well,
many
but
people that would
are
be
we
interested.
Are we going to have enough time to do all the other stuff that we usually do during these meetings and that? Or are we saying that it would be supplemental meeting?
Maybe we do a separate meeting for it. I mean, is there anybody that wouldn't be interested in the subcommittee? I guess is the question that's on this committee. I think everybody probably wants to be part of it, but I agree with you that
Yeah. I think
it's
that's
a big
true.
time suck if we do it at our once a month meeting and maybe we do a special meeting and should we do it in June? I mean, or should we? I know that we start getting into tough times getting people together in summer, but we want to act fast so that we can make recommendations back to the council so that we have a shot at this extra money.
If I can make a suggestion, maybe if we're gonna do a special meeting, the first meeting, either the special or the regular, however it turns out, the next one is we can dive through all the survey data.
Yeah.
So we've got all that, we've
Yeah.
got our roundtable stuff, and then the regular meeting, assuming that's the second one, we come back then to talk about now, taking that, what we have learned, driving through the data, how do we
Well,
make? a
wouldn't we
plan?
need both, really? We'd need roundtable and survey.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
and the roundtable data we can send out again as well, so we've
Yeah.
got it all. And it's on the same webpage too, if you're interested, so it's out there for them.
What do we think is a good time frame for that? Would that be,
Well,
Sooner
our,
rather than later.
that's what I would think. I mean,
our next meeting is the 23rd. I'm trying to remember all the different meetings in the next month here, so let me pull my calendar on the phone. Sixteenth, we have Crossroads, 14th is Old Orchard. What's 15th look like for you, Fran?
15th is open.
So Wednesday, the 15th, that's a week before your regular meeting. Is it, if we want to do the morning meeting like we're in now, which is sort of our historic world.
mhm.
I would love it if it wasn't 8:00.
Would you like it a little bit later?
You know, it's amazing, the trade association meets once a month, but we meet at 8:30. And just that half hour,
Makes a big difference.
it does make a big difference.
Well, 8:00 also drop, enough.
School
time for
drop-offs,
kids,
yep.
All that kind of stuff, yeah.
I'm just looking to Zoom, Pam, Tim, Andrew, Wednesday, the 15th at 8:30. Everyone, is that doable?
Be fine with me.
It's fine with me.
And it'd be the specific purpose of roundtable and survey data. So again, diving through the data. And then the regular meeting on the 23rd, we would go into the plan and the business.
Just checking my calendar, sorry, and it seems fine with me. Is it, what time again?
We said 8:30. We'll give you all an extra half hour.
I
And if you
might,
show up in person, you might have donuts from somebody who likes donuts.
I might have something at 9 that morning, but we'll just, we'll see what happens. It's a long time.
Good,
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do 8:30 at 6:15 or on 6:15, sorry.
okay.
Perfect. Business district updates?
I think I mentioned you all, Crossroads is planning their pickleball tournament on August 13th. It is getting big. They're getting closer and closer to closing all of Gore down in their area. So it's growing and that will be going live in their registration very soon. The Design Strike's putting that together. Old Orchard, I know the gazebo series is coming up. I haven't had a chance to, it's a minor issue, but we did have a criminal issue where a stolen car crashed into gazebo park and took out a couple light poles in our new streetscape. So, but that's minor. We'll have that all fixed up in time for gazebo series. So,
Oh, yeah, we get time.
yeah, no sculptures were broken, thank God. That's important. I'll turn Old Webster over to Tim. Did I miss anything with Old Orchard? Brandon?
No.
Okay.
We did not have Old Webster.
We had to cancel because we lost our quorum.
We didn't have quorum.
So I wanted to come back to that for all the business districts. There are openings in each of them. There's one in Crossroads. Crossroads is the most full right now, but Old Orchard has two or three.
Two in Old
two
Orchard,
and three in,
four technically in Old Webster.
right.
Yeah.
So
Crazy that Crossroads has the most.
I know, right? Yes.
How many are on there?
So Crossroads has 7 and
Yeah, 7 across, 9 on the others.
Yeah.
so good news there. I wanted to come back to Crossroads. This will be more public. Well, today it happened yesterday, so we have no problems. I really want to congratulate Crossroads. They have for 20 years been struggling with their streetscape. The East-West Council and the Gateway, we have submitted a grant for 4 years in a row from the city to fix up things down there. The county have finally agreed that they would take over the grant, and they got awarded the first year they did it. So it's $1.5 some million of federal money that's going to go into Big Bend to not only redo the road, striping to help slow some speed and such, but also a whole new streetscape through Crossroads.
That's great.
The historic light poles and all that.
They have been trying to get that for a long time.
Yeah.
For those of you that have
Yeah.
been in the sport for a while, that's been like the Crossroads update for years.
So,
Yeah.
so it's finally happened. So obviously the federal money will start to get programmed, and then we'll start, I mean, we're not going to break ground this year by any means, but
Sure,
the point being is that the money's locked in around the plan. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay, and then any city updates as far as anything we haven't discussed?
So just again, a reminder, business licenses are posted, and I'll put on the screen, there's our April new businesses and closed businesses. As you can see, as we talked about home-based business, the non-renewals, there's 3 home-based businesses that, did sign up, and out of 5 in April, new businesses. So
That's what I was gonna ask. What's this? little
This one
figure?
bakery.
I have no idea. I have no idea. So I can look it up. So
What is the coffee shop that's going in by regions?
I don't know what kind of it is. They haven't filed their license yet. Because you have to have your occupancy permit to be able to file a business license. So until they're done with construction, so business license is like the last thing that
Yeah.
is. So
Yep.
I've been assured it's not a Starbucks.
That was my guess. So, okay, yeah,
I was thinking so. I was like, I gotta. So, but I was assured it wasn't, but that may have been somebody assuring me of something, false flag. The only other city update is, I think you all know Pam Bliss is now our new council liaison. She couldn't be with us today, but she is very adamantly an endorser and supporter of your work. So she's in my office at least once a week. How do we do this for the business community?
So we could force.
Yeah.
Cool. And then any council updates other than what we discussed as well as far as budgetary? Things?
The council, I'm sorry, if you're a follower of city news, which not many people should be, hopefully, but the council is reviewing boards and commissions, not what board, you should not in any way be concerned about this, but they're really going through chapter 4, which outlines those things about what's the right size of membership, what's our appointment process. It's become a little perfunctory, and are we getting the right mix of voices, diversity, and the inclusion we want on that. So they're reviewing those types of things. So.
Good deal. All right, and then, so our next meeting really is at 6:15, 8:31.
Yep.
But June 23rd, any conflicts that we know of at all?
I'll be on Zoom. We're out of town, but
I may not be able to be here. I will be out in Costa Rica, and I don't know if I'll be able to. So, but that's okay. So.
I know.
Yes.
So since we talked about time, and I don't want to belabor meetings much longer for everyone, but 8 AM is our normal historic start time. Is that something you want changed? You could set the meetings whenever you wish, so.
I like it because,
Yeah, because you've done it at 9.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
I usually don't have stuff on my schedule until, and then it's like right after drop off, but I'm a morning person too, so.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's what we've always been used to.
I like 8.
I'm okay with
You've
this
done
next
it
one being
9.
8:30 too. So,
Oh, it's not
I'm-
that
I'm
big of a
pretty
difference
flexible.
between-
yeah.
I will, because he's not here, I will say that Earbub would want something after 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I know that.
Because every time I try to schedule something with, because he's got,
No, I
I know.
schedule like 6:30 AM appointments with
Well,
him.
That's what I usually do too. My wife told me to stop, because she's like, you're waking up earlier to work for the dentist, stop doing that. And I was like.
Just pick a
Yeah, you're right.
Probably don't
That's
pick the day that
exactly
it's not, one day that it's not open,
Like,
maybe, but I
perfect.
don't think that is.
I'm not sure either.
So then maybe going into like any other subcommittee meetings, you could flip to like a late afternoon one.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah.
Just to,
That's not a bad idea.
Should we consider, I mean, would the 6:15 work better? I mean, is it feasible to do that later for everybody? So
In the evening?
like that.
Or-
evening.
not everything to say, but like four.
Or would be-
I say that and I might be taking myself out of the meeting.
My husband's on the Parks Commission and they meet at like 7 o'clock.
No, I don't.
Are we talking about a
Sorry.
permanent deal?
No, the June 15th meeting,
Subcommittee.
the June
Okay.
15th meeting.
Okay.
4:30, is that what you said?
I don't think I could do 4:30. I could do 4.
Or is good, because then you're out at 5.
Just so that we get the most amount of voices and.
Does 4 o'clock allow everyone to, on June 15th? Is that?
Yeah, if it's just a one-time thing, it's sure.
Just the one time. Would that work for everybody?
Better than 8:30 for me personally.
Okay,
Good.
so let's do,
Bye.
well, let's do that then. 4 PM, 6
4
PM.
And that,
That's our next
that
one.
agenda, we will limit to the review of the data, so it'll be very
Yes.
much a.
All right, great. Good deal. Well, let's go ahead and adjourn then.
All
So
right.
everybody have a great day.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.